Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 5:30 p.m., Monday, April 12th, 2021. I'm calling this meeting of the Paris City Council to order. We'll start off with the invocation led by Mr. Anderson, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mayor Pro Tem Ms. Portugal. Everyone please stand.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, we continue to be thankful for all of your blessings, Father. We thank you for the progress that's been made against COVID-19. We just pray that you continue to bless us, Father, and we might see more and more those who are sick be able to go home and to be completely recovered. Father, we pray tonight for our council members as they do the business of the city, that you'd guide and direct them, give them wisdom, and help them to make the decisions, Father, that will most benefit our city. For we do ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personal appeals, are not appropriate for Citizens Forum. The Citizens Forum is now open. Anyone wishing to address the council, please step up and give us your name and address. You'll have at least 2 minutes.
Or the podium. Mayor,
Take your mask off if you want to.
is it all right?
Please.
Mayor, members of City Council, my name is Larry Shank. I live at 3765 Dawn Drive in Morningside subdivision. I hope you can hear me through this
Go ahead and
mask.
take it off if you want.
Very good. It doesn't get any better after I take it off. I'm here and perhaps speaking preemptively because you have an item on your agenda tonight that, from what I understand, is going to be, again, passed over because an arrangement may be made to solve the problem, which is always good. And I want to give you a kudo before I make my comments for hiring apparently a very qualified planning director that's going to be addressing zoning matters. And I think that's a wonderful thing. So I give you high marks for that. Here's my concern. I just want to let you know a little bit of background that you might not ever know if indeed this measure is resolved. This has to do with a property that's on the very edge of Morningside subdivision. The owner, as executor, had the opportunity or the right to ask for a rezoning on the property. The problem with it is that she asked for because apparently she had a potential buyer for office purposes. At the same time, citizens were notified, not realizing that office doesn't mean office. It means a whole lot more than office. And if you'll see the list that I've handed you, that is the problem. When we looked at it, it could have been that a number of citizens would be satisfied with an office if they did not have to run the risk of having something else that would also be entitled to go in there with the rezoning. That needs to be changed. Office needs to mean office. Otherwise, people are not on notice. You get calls, you get upset people down here. You have to make a hard decision when, in fact, the decision was more refined, then it wouldn't be such a bad issue. And so that's my purpose in just bringing that to your attention. I think that needs to be looked at. There's some other things I may raise with this whole process. Again, we had a number of people that showed up for the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, but we know this is a solid blue-collar town. They couldn't get there at 5:30. And so that's another thing that I think needs to be looked at. 5:30 is tough for people who work for a paycheck and don't have the right to just leave whenever they can, like us old fuddy lawyers. So anyway, I'm sorry I'm running through my 2 minutes.
You're fine. I'm giving you a few extra seconds anyway, Mr. Shank.
But those are the issues that, because I was the one, myself and former Chief Whitley were the ones that went around. We're not even within the 200-foot border, but we were worried about what could happen with this property. And I'm hoping it's resolved. I'm still reserving other comments. But everybody was doing what they should be doing, but you guys were going to have to make, or still may have to make, a tough decision when in my mind, could be avoided with some refinements to the zoning ordinance.
And Ms. Schenker, I can't really comment on it other than to refer that to a future agenda or the
Right.
appropriate committee. Now, however, we've already done that once this year. We made some changes made some recommendations for changes to zoning. And so the appropriate place to start this would be planning and zoning.
Right.
We could direct them to look into this, or you could show up at planning and zoning and do
Well,
the same
it'd
thing.
probably carry a little more heft if it came from you.
Okay, I'd like to refer that to a future agenda for us to discuss the possibility of recommending changes to the zoning ordinance regarding office.
I appreciate it.
So
Thank you very
We'll
much.
put that on future agenda. Thank you, sir.
My name is Cleon Drake, and I live at 2501 Simpson Street here in Paris. And I'm here to come before y'all about two things tonight. The first one is a stop work order that was put on Randy Hyder's home on South Church that I saw on Facebook. And it sort of got under my skin. And I know in the historical district things are different. But the work order said that he was in violation of the pretty side, not being visible from the street. And so when you look at the word pretty, it says pleasing or attractive to the eye. Well, in the ordinance that was adopted back in 2008, it only refers to the bad side. So there's so many homes and buildings in the historical district that are falling down and that have trash piled up in front of them. That, is this what the city is doing? That we're going and nitpicking, yes, maybe he was in violation, but this is when the city decided to focus on, instead of the dilapidation and the things that are so noticeable when we drive into our city. So if they're going to start enforcing these ordinances that haven't been enforced in a long time, and we all know that, can we not give people notice, a warning before they stop notice? Because he has spent thousands and thousands of dollars in our community to revitalize homes. And I'm afraid we're going to run people out of town that are willing to spend their own money to help in revitalizing our town. Going on to the second thing, that's property at 2474 Simpson Street. And I have to look at it every day, and that's one of those houses that are dilapidated. And I have complained about it for years and years and years. And this house burned about 10, 11 years ago, right after we came to Paris. And then it was turned around and sold to Joyce Freeman, and it sat vacant. And in the beginning, she was storing construction stuff there. But now nobody ever comes around. And the only time it's mowed is when I file a complaint with code enforcement. It's overgrown. Right now, if you walked through all of the trees and the bushes to even get to the front porch, it's been spray painted. There's vagrants that are staying on that front porch. And as a citizen of Paris, I shouldn't have to deal with that. The windows are broken. There's things that are starting to fall off of the house. There was a tree that fell the other day, and I left to go to the grocery store, and when I came back, I think the neighbor was the one that actually got it out of the street. And there's rodents going in and out. There's cats going in and out. It's a health hazard. And when I've questioned about it, I've been told nothing can be done because of the woman that owns the house. That's not right. That's not right. So as a community and as a city, we need to do something better about cleaning up these things that are falling down and that are health hazards, instead of, I think, picking on people that are trying to revitalize and at least giving them an opportunity to correct it before they do stop work orders, because we need to keep the safety and the beauty of our community forefront. Thank you.
Thank you. I let you go way over, but I
know,
but
I'm
I
sorry. I
appreciate
was
what, no,
trying
no,
to-
I appreciate what you said.
Okay.
And regarding, once again, the first thing you mentioned, I think this is a future agenda item.
Okay.
I've already had a conversation with the city attorney and the city manager about this, because you're correct, this ordinance has been hasn't been
Hasn't.
enforced, and I think it was poorly written. So with the council's permission, I'd like to put this on a future agenda to discuss changing the ordinance
Yeah.
to make more sense, because you're correct, it doesn't make any sense at
And
all the way it
anything
is.
I can do to go and talk before a committee or
Okay.
anything, I'd be happy to
Well, come to the
do.
next meeting, we'll discuss it
Okay,
at the
will
next
do.
meeting,
All right, thank
hopefully.
you.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to address the council, please come forward.
Come before y'all today because y'all are our city leaders.
Your name and address, sir.
John Alfred Peterson, 2810 Clark Lane.
Okay.
I'm here because the police department has the idea that I'm handicapped. I can't cross on crosswalks when it has green lights. People don't have to stop at white lines at the side, at the red lights. They can run over me and hurt me and everything else. And I am sick of it. When I first purchased this house back in 20, I think right at 20th, 2020, not 2020, 2000, the police chief in here was a great guy that I thought. He owns now the music store. The problem I have is everybody in this town seems to think like the dangers of wolf pack mentality. And I believe you have a pamphlet was given to you by the city manager.
It was an email sent out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I wish y'all would read it and look in the mirror and to see if you see that person looking back at you. I am disabled because I served my country. I ran to the Army. I didn't run from the draft. But now I'm handicapped. I've been hit, knocked out of my wheelchair from a lady, stopped at a stop sign, but she had plenty of time to pull out and hit me. The law says you're not supposed to leave that stop sign if there's traffic there. I've had people run over my feet, break every bone in my toes. When I'm crossing at Lamar and Collegiate, simply to get to the other side of the road. They have a red light. But he had to go to high school to pick up a kid. But he didn't look to see if somebody was there to start with. That kind of mentality is going to get somebody killed.
Sir, your 2 minutes are up, but I'll let you say a few more words to
know?
finish up what you want to say.
To give you one example, I'm handicapped. I'm sorry, but I am treated like a fourth-class citizen, and it shouldn't be that way. What's funny, and I'll give it thing back. 80% of the people that stop to see there's something wrong, I got fallen out of my wheelchair, I need help doing something, 90% of them are of color. They stop and help. Do you think that makes me feel good about my fellow man?
Sir, I appreciate it. Thanks for talking. I know your time's up. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Anyone else wish to address the council?
Good evening. My name is Millicent Key. I reside at 541 South Main. Thank you for your time. I'm also here on behalf of Mr. Hyder and the code issue, and I was very glad to hear that that will be on a future agenda, but I did want to add a few thoughts to it. I'm a relatively new resident to the historic district, the Main Street, Church Street district, and Historic preservation, I think, in this town with the designations that have inhibited the development that Mr. Hyder is in putting forth is a good idea that can go too far. I think when we look around the historic district, we need to look at what we're trying to stabilize, which is what historic preservation district guidelines do. And we do see a lot of decay, a lot of debris, a lot of over-enforcement of designations and codes down there. My husband and I have recently started renovating a home that will be 94 years old this year, and we are enjoying that process deeply. And we want to maintain its character, we want to maintain the integrity of the neighborhood, but we don't live in 1927 anymore. So I want to take this idea of looking at the code a little step further and see if we can come together with some ideas between developers, between the city, between code enforcement, between historical preservation that looks at that district as not something to preserve, but something to revitalize, and looking at what we're preserving. I unfortunately have heard, and it's been the narrative that's been sent around the community, and I heard it before we moved into our home, and I've heard it even since when we started renovations, that basically we'll be hassled. We'll be hassled anytime we try and improve something on the exterior, that it's not going to be worth our time, it's not going to be worth our resources, it's not going to be worth our energy. It will result in frustration. And much of what's being preserved down there is not really of high quality historical value. It's empty lots, it's broken down buildings that really need encouragement and innovation, and really not only permitted to improve, but encouraged to do so. Mr. Hyder has done this incredible work down there. I've looked at the two historical homes that he has already renovated, very respectfully done. And this new home that he's added to it as a property owner in that district is exciting to me, because it does rising tides raise all ships kind of situation down there. But I'm concerned that designations and code ordinances that are not enforced for the purpose of safety, but are just enforced for the purpose of a pretty side of a fence, is going to send a narrative out in the community that it's not worth our time and efforts down there. And I would like to see us change that.
All right.
Additionally,
Your time's up, but I'll let you speak a few more seconds. I'll let you go a minute longer. I'm letting everybody go longer. So go ahead.
additionally, we do see a lot of economic diversity in that neighborhood. I want to see that continue. I would love to see that neighborhood develop even more so that we do have safe and affordable housing in that neighborhood, so that we're not dealing with substandard housing and unsafe conditions for people who are trying to improve their own homes but are either afraid to do so or are getting stop work orders. So I'd love that to be considered, that we look at historic revitalization, not just preservation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, I'm Charles Whitley. I live at and have lived at 725 Southeast 38th Street, which is in the Morningside Edition. Lived there for 42 years. And I'm very glad to say that, in that it's been a long time, but I have yet to even consider moving until this item number 7 came up. It looks like they had asked for a rezoning on this, and then when we looked at what this actually the designations referred to, and it looked like you could almost do anything with that property over there. I hope that what I heard a little earlier, that this request for rezoning may have been dropped. I don't know that to be a fact. I suppose that some of you do anyway. But the thing about it is, I heard that one of the residents in that addition had signed a contract to buy this property, and it's a very expensive piece of property, I understand. But if that goes through, I suppose that would be the answer to our problems. But at the same time, there may be others. I'd hate to know. I lived in any area, any place where I had to go and borrow money to buy a piece of property adjacent to me just so a gas station or whatever might come in. Anyway, that's where I'm coming from, and I hope that this will be resolved tonight. And let me say this before I'm seated. I know you people get a lot of criticism, and maybe I'm one of those that have criticized you in the past, but at the same time, I would like to say that we appreciate our city council. We appreciate the city of Paris, our new manager. It's a great place to live. But more than that, thank you for the time you have devoted. I know it's very difficult to be here for every meeting and on time, but I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
And I thank you.
Hello, my name is Tanner and I live at 1110 South Church Street. I come before because I'm not going to call it nitpicking anymore. It's more of become a harassment. And my voice is shaky because I'm angry with the city. They encourage you to push through all this red tape and building new houses and bringing new stuff to the city and everything like that. But what's given to cut that red tape is a spoon. You can't quite cut it. Now, that fence was $7,000 that Randy Hyder had put on that property. And the fact that the poles are pushed up against a sagging chain link fence that was never mentioned to anyone. Also, the same issue was that there's a fence on the parish trail that the city had placed. Now, the pretty side is facing the trail, of course, but the posts are facing the house next to them. That doesn't make sense. So if the city is going to enforce where the poles can't be seen from neighbors or street view or whatever, I think that the city should have to follow the same rule. I would hope that you would all think that. And again, many people have said that the houses on that street, some of them are falling through, some of them have holes in their roof, some of them aren't the color that they should be, but a brand new fence that is beautiful, there's a problem. The poles can be seen. Nothing's mentioned about the hole in the roof or the tree that fell down, knocked off an awning, or anything like that. It's just frustrating for us because we have spent a lot of money. And I'm glad that it will be on a future agenda, and I hope to see you guys at that meeting as well. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Randy Hyder. I'm the homeowner at 1110 South Church Street, and this will be my third home on Church Street to renovate and bring great people into the neighborhood that love it. And here I am building a brand new house, and what keeps me motivated is the outpouring of positivity from the people that live in this community. It's been amazing. It makes me think, you know what, maybe Paris has a lot of potential. But dealing with the city government, no. I've had so many like nitpicky roadblocks. I'm like, I can do this, just fight through it. You can do it, Randy, just you'll get over it. Go up to my house, we're unloading a bunch of stuff. Fence is going up. Brian's done my fence. He's done hundreds of fences all over the city for the last 21 years. Never had an issue. Roger's on my property. He's like, I got some bad news. I thought I was going to be arrested. And here I am just trying to improve a neighborhood. And I said, look over there. Do you see that hole in that roof? The fence you guys built used a black chain link fence along the trail. I mean, come on. Like, aren't there bigger issues at hand? And just that red piece of paper handed to me just really hurt. It sunk a knife into me, and I was like, why do I even want to continue this and talk positive about the city? And everyone comes at me so negatively at the city level. And someone needs to change that. If we want to bring new people in and new construction, it can't be done by the way they've been doing it. Because you know what? People can drive 3 miles down the road and avoid city limits completely. Why would they be motivated to build in the city limits? They can go to Reno. Like, let's be honest, competition's there. So I think that's what we really need to think about. And these little nitpicky, bogus ordinances about posts visible from, not street frontage. None of our fences posts are visible from any street frontage. It's only running between property lines, which is just like every other fence built in every other neighborhood in the city of Paris. So it's just I think it's harassment. I don't know how we'd sum it up, but it's got to stop. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
Okay, thanks. Again,
Thank you.
Perhaps we can address the ordinance at a next meeting because it doesn't seem to make much sense.
Absolutely.
And it hasn't been enforced. So look to next meeting and we'll see what we can do to get that,
All
to
right.
get this
And I
fixed.
appreciate you guys again so much. All of you guys have been great, and the community has been amazing. So it's just the city that's been the problem. Thank you.
I will say in fairness to the city, I mean, the ordinances are on the books. The problem is the way the ordinance is written, and you're looking at the body that can change that. So, anyone else? All right, the citizens forum is now closed. Brings up the consent agenda. Are there any items? There's only two that anybody wants to discuss. Not, I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Next item, number 7. I'll have to ask the city attorney what we need to do about this. Do we need to just leave it on the table, or you come address us, please? Well, I'll read it. I'll read the agenda item first. Discuss, continue the public hearing, and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Rebecca Harlison, executrix of George Jennison Estate, for a change in zoning from a one-family dwelling district number 2 SF2 to an office district O in the Morningside Estates Block P, Lot 3, LCAD 13441, located in 800 block of Southeast 38th Street. What's the way we need
I
to
would
proceed?
take it off of the table in order to reset the continuation of the public hearing to the next meeting.
Okay.
I make a motion to remove this item from the table.
Second.
Okay, and the reason we're doing this is because, as I understand it, there's currently an offer being made on the property which will make the zoning change moot, and the property can be sold without the zoning change. So we're going to postpone acting on the zoning change until we see whether or not the sale goes through. So, okay, all in favor of removing it from the table? Okay, and I need to do what? Make a motion. What will we need to do? To table it again? Or a date?
To continue the public hearing until, table it again, and continue the public hearing until April 22nd,
I make that motion.
26th.
I
I'm sorry.
make the motion she just said.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you. Next item, number 8. Conduct a public hearing, discuss and consider all matters incident and related to the issuance and sale of the City of Paris, Texas Combination Tax and Surplus Revenue Certificates of Obligation Series 2021, including the adoption of an ordinance authorizing the issuance of such certificates, approving an official statement, a paying agent/registrar agreement, and an engagement letter of bond counsel. Mr. Anderson.
Okay. Back in February, the council voted to adopt a resolution giving notice of intent to issue certificates of obligation. And we're at the point now where the council needs to have a public hearing and later approve an ordinance authorizing that issuance if they choose to go forward. Mark McCliney from Samco Capital is here with us tonight, who's our financial advisor, and I'm going to ask him to step up and talk about the results.
Mayor and Council, it's good to be here. It's taken a long time to get here. I know it's been longer for you all working on this wastewater treatment plant. With your permission, in February, we went out, did all the process to get to this point, which is a preliminary official statement, going out to bond rating, and start inviting firms to bid on these bonds. And today was the culmination of it all. We ended up with some great results. The one-page handout that I just gave you are the bids that came in. We received 6 bids today. They came in from not only Texas, which is the winning bid, Hilltop Securities, but all throughout the country. You'll see number 2 place bid was Merrill Lynch, Wells Fargo out of California, Robert Baird is one of the largest municipal bond buyers. Full representation throughout the country, which is what we wanted. When we're selling $1 million or $2 million or $5 million here, it's just normally regional firms. But when we're starting to get into these big pieces like this, we get national attention. And the fact that your finances are in such good shape really drove these interest rates. The 221, we had been budgeting and planning a 3% interest rate. So what does that mean to you and your citizens? It's going to be $7,500,000 less than what we are budgeting. Now, this is phase one. We're going to put $46,065,000 into the construction fund. But there is a phase two out there 3 or 4 years down the road. And this gives you all that extra flexibility to face inflation, if inflation picks up, without raising the rates more than you already approved a couple meetings ago. So it's given us room, and if by the time we sell those bonds, inflation doesn't take off, and we end up lower, then it means lower rates overall to your citizens. This is the first step, and that's about $7 million less, $7.5 million less than what we were planning for. So when we get to that second bond sale to finish the project, you're going to be in a lot better shape, and that should be 4 years from now. So really, really good news for you all and the citizens, but it really is driven by your history and your financial history. What you're doing, you're putting money into your reserves each year, giving investors real confidence that we're going to get paid back when they lend you the money. So I don't want to go into more detail. I'm happy to go into more detail, but that's the quick overview. We want to recommend awarding the bonds to Hilltop Securities.
Does anyone have any questions or comments? All right. Well, I'll make a motion that we award the, oh, I'm sorry, I have to open a public hearing. Thank you, sorry. Public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to discuss this, please step up. Got a lot of people keeping me honest. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing, and I'll open the floor up for a motion or discussion.
I make a motion to accept the bond rating to Hilltop Securities at 2.216495.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Next is item number 9, conduct a public hearing, which I'll try to remember to do. Discuss and possibly act on a resolution adopting guidelines and criteria for the residential tax abatement agreement program.
You're probably more aware, because we've done it more often, that every 2 years for tax abatements, you have to readopt the guidelines and criteria. We're at that point. It's been 2 years ago since we readopted the guidelines for residential tax abatement program. You guys reaffirmed your commitment to that program last year when you reauthorized the reinvestment zone that's citywide to make those tax abatements available to people. So we just need to have a public hearing and then move and adopt a resolution to adopt those criteria for the residential tax abatement program.
Okay, the public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to talk? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Any comments or questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion on this one as well.
Second.
No, okay, I'll make the motion. Okay, I was entertaining it, but I'll make the motion to adopt guidelines and criteria, or to approve the resolution readopting criteria and guidelines for residential tax abatements. Second, okay. All in favor? Unanimous again, thank you.
You usually make the motion.
Item number 10, discuss and act on an ordinance extending the mayor's declaration of local disaster for public health emergency in order dated March 19, 2020, as extended by resolution number 2020-11 and by ordinances number 2020-14, 2020-17, 2020-23, 2020-30, 2020-35, 2021-1 for an additional 90 days. Or until July 24th, 2021. So I understand.
I think I'm going to start simplifying the caption on this resolution. We have not quite cleared the COVID crisis yet, and the state, the governor continues to renew his statewide declaration of disaster, I would suggest to you that it's a good idea, as long as the governor is extending his declaration, that we continue to do that here locally. And I've presented a resolution to you to extend it for another 90 days.
Okay, any questions or discussion? All right, somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we extend the mayor's declaration of local disaster from public hearing emergency in order dated March 19, 2020 for an additional 90 days until July 24th, 2021.
Motion.
I
Ennis,
second.
I got a second. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Item number 11, discuss and act to authorize a contract in the amount of $15,500 with Allison Bass and McGee LLP to perform redistricting services related to the 2020 U.S. Census. Ms. Harris.
As you may be aware, every year that there's a census, the next year, local governments or any government that elects representatives from geographical districts has to go through a redistricting process, and that involves taking that census data and doing some statistical work with that and determining whether A, your population has grown any, or B, if it's shifted. In our case, we want to maintain some districts that have a minority representation in them. This is required by law. It's a complicated process. Allison Bass McGee of Austin does this and has presented a contract for professional service to do that for us. They have also been retained by Lamar County and the Paris Independent School District. There's some savings involved with that because they're essentially analyzing the same census data. It is a $15,500 contract with $7,750 being due when we sign the contract and present it to them, and then they can start the process of doing the data analysis. If they determine that nothing has changed enough to require any redistricting under federal or state law, they'll tell us that, and then that additional payment won't be due. They'll stop providing services and we'll be done. But if they do find that redistricting is necessary, they'll provide us with at least 3 different plans and for the city council to consider, and we can go from there. So I'd ask you to approve that contract.
Any questions? All right, I'll make a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Allison Bass and McGee LLP, redistricting consultant, to analyze 2020 census data and to assist the city with redistricting if necessary, at a cost of $15,500.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Item number 12, discuss and provide direction to staff regarding a loan from the city to the Paris Economic Development Corporation. Stephanie, you want to summarize this?
I will do that. As you remember, you've authorized the city to pursue a loan to PEDC to retire their indebtedness. PEDC, after that meeting, agreed to go forward as well. I'm working with Casey Gain, the attorney for PEDC, in coming up with some documents, and we've reached the determinative question of whether you want this to be a secured note or an unsecured demand note. Whatever you tell us we'll do. One way we could secure it, if that's what you wanted to do, is take a position, a lien on the land. It would be a second position until their debt is paid off, in which case those liens would be retired and we would have a first position in the land. But if you want to just do an unsecured demand note, that's fine too. The other issue that came up at the PDC meeting, I believe, is we had talked about a demand period of 48, 72 hours, and I think what they talked about at the PDC meeting was maybe a period of 2 weeks to give them time to meet that demand. So we just need some guidance.
What's your recommendation on that?
Well, I'm a lawyer, I always like security, but
What did Casey feel?
he doesn't care.
They don't care. Will this have any effect, Gene, on will lenders look on this favorably if we have it secured versus not? will it affect us in any way?
Well, of course, security is a better position for the city. I didn't know what all they've discussed, but, they could already have something in place if we didn't do an instant demand. Did y'all discuss that, like a letter of credit or something that's already pre-approved? If they needed to pay us back, they could just go and borrow on that. I mean, I would think that might be a possibility,
They're
too.
trying to avoid that, is my understanding, if they can avoid that, but it doesn't mean we can't tell them that's what needs to happen.
Well, just as long as you can assure me that this won't affect the city's credit rating, then I don't care.
I don't think it's probably substantial enough to do that.
Okay.
And it's less money than what we talked about originally,
Yeah.
because they sold some land and paid off on one of those
Why don't we
notes.
go with my inclination would be go with a secured loan. I mean, why not?
Okay.
It's not going to change anything, and it could potentially affect somebody's view of whether or not this would be repaid, so.
Yeah, and the only caveat with that would be we will put something in the papers that if they were to need to provide some of that land in an incentive, that particular portion of it could be removed from the note so they could pass it out without any encumbrances.
That'd be fine. Fine with me, certainly.
Is that the consensus?
Anybody have any questions of Ms. Harris?
Seems like a win-win. Saves money on both entities.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm going to sit down now.
Thank you. All right, so we were just providing direction to staff, so we're done with number 12. Number 13, discuss and act on a request for a 30-day extension of the J.C. Miles subdivision plat for review by Planning and Zoning.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of City Council. It's a pleasure to be back here before you. My first regular meeting for actually performing new duties, and on my second week on the job here with the city. Pleasure to be here working for you now. We have something before you here this evening that's a little new. We would probably typically put this on the consent agenda in the future, but because it's new, we just want to give you a little explanation. A couple of years ago, the legislature changed the laws regarding approving of plats and the process for that for cities. And basically what it does is it places what we refer to in the planning world as a shot clock on action by the community. And so what the statute requires us to do, which imposes this requirement on the city, is to act within 30 days from the date of a receipt of an application at the level of the Planning Commission, if that's the first step, which in the case of Paris it is. And so we received a request for a plat. It was submitted in advance or after, the deadline. It's taken more than 30 days to get things ready. There was some additional corrections. In this particular case, we did receive a request from the applicant to extend the 30 days. We can't require them to extend it. We can't force them to waive their requirement for the 30-day action. But they can voluntarily submit a request. In this case, they've done that. And what the rules state in the statute is that the governing body making the final decision on plats is the only authority to extend the deadline. So they've requested it. It's before you. It's going to still be held at the Planning Commission level. All this action does is gives the Planning Commission another 30 days to hold the meeting and review and make a recommendation to the council. Once they do that, the council's also on the hook 30 days following the date of action by the Planning Commission. You all must take action as well on that. So we're just simply recommending you accept the request by the applicant and extend the 30-day time frame.
Okay. You don't have any questions for Mr. Mack? All right. I'll entertain a motion on this one, too. Who wants to make it?
Make a motion to extend the planning and zoning deadline 30 days, giving them an extension as written.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Mack.
Thank you.
And I've been looking forward to this one. Item number 14, receive a presentation regarding the progress and statistics of the COVID-19 vaccine clinic. Mr. Thrasher.
Good afternoon. Thought we'd give a little update about the clinic that we've been doing for about 11 weeks now through the Lamar County Health Department, City of Paris, and lots of others involved. We'll tell you some of the statistics we're going to see in things are just data we collected through the city and not the combination of the different pharmacies and doctors and things like that. So a little bit of information about the vaccines. There are 3 in use. The Pfizer vaccine, which we have not had here in the county. It has real strict requirements for storage, like minus 80-degree freezers, things like this, and takes a while. The Moderna has been almost our exclusive vaccine. It's kept in regular freezing. It has a long shelf life. And we just this past week had the Janssen with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is not frozen, but is kept in the refrigerator. Both the Pfizer and the Moderna are mRNA vaccines. They give instructions through DNA into your cells how to create the antibodies and the spike proteins to fight against the COVID-19 virus. Janssen is the first viral vector vaccine, which means it has particles of an actual inactivated cold virus to instruct your body how to create those same proteins. Once you start one of the vaccines, you can't switch them up. You've got to continue the same vaccine, whether the 2-dose or the single-dose Janssen. So we started creating a countywide list. Initial rollouts of the vaccines were the 1st of December when they received their approval from the FDA. We began seeing some of the vaccines around the 21st of December. At that time, both the city staff and the health department were just inundated with calls from people wanting it. They just had to use answer machines and write down on paper names and numbers and hoping they could eventually call them back. Under direction from the mayor, city manager, and the county judge, he directed that the city staff and county health officials create a centralized list rather than every place having their own list to keep up with these folks, be able to contact them later, and keep track of when their doses were due. This system went online on January 18th and followed by the staffing of the call center at the police station on February 3rd. To date, we've had 14,920 folks sign up online. A lot of those are duplicates. People sign up again and again. But and about 1,900 have called through the call center. All right, so when the public vaccine clinics first came out, we were only getting about 100 or 200 per week. We used locations such as the NetRack office or Primetime for at least the phase 1 group, which were healthcare workers, nursing home workers, those kind of things. As the allocations grew to 400, 600 per week, the public clinics, we had to move to the Hunt Center first at PJC. And we did that for 2 weeks in a row. On week 9 of vaccine distribution, the week of February 8th to the 12th, we started to get our vaccine hub designation, and we began getting 1,000 doses per week pretty regularly, every week. So those numbers required us to have a bigger facility, easier access, and that's when we moved to the Love Civic Center. One thing to note that there has not been a cost given to any person vaccinated through the Lamar County Health District. No insurance billed, no requirements to do anything except show up, bring a warm body, and we'll vaccinate you. A lot of folks have had some problem with the vaccine as far as its confidence. I know they did a survey at the end of 2020. Only about 58% of the country said that they were willing to take it. A lot of people had problems with, are there side effects? Does it really work? Is it safe for people? And was there cost involved? We overcame a lot of that. So large-scale vaccinations, doing these numbers per week required a lot of planning and logistics, and we're just toward the end here getting it down to a fine art. Monday through Thursday, we schedule the vaccines, we do online, we have a texting service where we actually have conversations with people, have a lot better response that way than calling. Email and actual phone calls. Thursdays, we make the rosters, print the forms with the lot numbers and the cards, and I'm there at 5:30 on Friday mornings getting set up, moving wheelchairs around, setting up all the clipboards. We thaw and draw the vaccine and then open to the public. Need to say by 2 o'clock we're ready to crash. And then we get to spend Saturday and Sunday entering all this data into both the TDM system, the MTRAC, and to update the database. And then it's time to repeat. All right, some of the key dates and timelines. December 4th was when the vaccine opens to all healthcare workers and nursing home staff. January 3rd opens up to 65 plus, including residents and anyone 16 or older with a major medical condition. January 22nd was our first regular Friday vaccination clinic that the health district did. February 26th, the DSHS prioritized what we call the super seniors, the 75 or older. They wanted those to be priority. March 3rd opens up to all teachers, education staff, child care centers. March 10th, anyone over 50, any requirements, 50 age or older. And then March 29th, the directive was anyone 18 or older can have the vaccine. All right, demographics, a little bit about this. So far to date, the Paris-Lamar County Health District has given 17,978 shots in people's arms. A total of 11,047 registrations, 83% were online and 16% were through the call center. Given by brand is obviously mostly Moderna, since we've only had Janssen for 1 week, the Johnson & Johnson, so it's Moderna's main brand. Some statistics, inoculations by race. This was required to be kept by DSHS starting February 12th. You can see the percentages there, as well as ethnicity. And I can never say that right, ethnicity. Numbers are top 5 ages that have registered and had shots. 72 years of age is number 1, 64, 63, 65, and 74. The top 5 ages that we have given doses to. Top 5 locations were also tracked. Of course, Paris is number 1, Powder Lake Blossom, Reno, and Dallas is our number 5. We've had literally thousands come from the Metroplex. You would think that they would have the lion's share of the vaccine, and they did get a lot, but people were not getting it. We actually had someone come from, well, I'll show you that in a minute, New Orleans, South Padre Island, San Antonio, had Canada, some from Connecticut actually came down. And this is where I learned the new word, vaccine tourism. Apparently it's a thing to use for your second dose, to find it somewhere else and take a day trip and go get it and visit. And I wonder why people were asking me, where's the best place to eat around here after they got their shot? And it's because they were traveling through and up here to get it. And so right now today, there's about 2,500 on the waiting list for their second dose. We'll get to them this month. 1,228 waiting on a first dose, and near 8,000 are completely series complete, had all of the vaccine required. Our busiest week for vaccinations was the last week of March. We gave almost 3,100 shots that week, 2,600 of which were on the clinic on 3/26, and we did those in 5.5 hours. So we put them in and put them out. We're staffed, these clinics, by obviously the health district employees, city paramedics and billing staff, PJC teachers and nursing students who got their clinical time used by giving vaccinations. Lots of citizen volunteers, retired nurses. We have a doctor who's about 78 years old, I believe, but he loves to give shots. Pharmacist, on-duty public works and firefighters, lots of county volunteers. We've gone through about 60,000 gloves, pairs of gloves, 32,000 needles, 25,000 syringes, and you can see the other things there. We also had to buy wheelchairs because the city didn't own any, and we helped folks in and out of the Civic Center. Off-clinic vaccine sites, the health department has also done this at several locations around town where there were groups of people who wanted us to come. Harrison, Walker, and Harper, both the school districts, several banks and churches, Arcade Hall, Turner Pipe, went to the NAACP office, Pine Tree Ranch, other places. We're also opening the clinics for the next 2 weeks at 7 a.m. for Kimberly-Clark employees, special arrangement for them to come in right when they get off duty to come up and get their shots. And a drive-through clinic is scheduled for Campbell Soup employees on the 22nd. Future plans, we're kind of winding down. We have 2 more large-scale clinics planned for the 16th and 30th. As of today, that will get through the majority of those remaining for their second doses. first dose interest is kind of waning even today. Going through this list of 1,000 people that had signed up, we've only got 92 who actually said they wanted to come, so interest is definitely changing. Future clinics, we'll continue to give those throughout the rest of the year probably. That'll be smaller clinics less often, or go to the actual health department to get it. All right, that's about it. I want to thank a lot of folks who helped make this happen, a lot of volunteers, a lot of hours you'll never know happen. Of course, Ms. Prestridge, Gina, led the whole thing, and Dr. Clifford, thank you for your guidance and trust in doing this. City Manager, Dr. Green, and you can see the others there, Paul Allen, and of course, my daughter Allison was in charge of the registration.
Yep. Mr. Thrasher, I can't thank you enough, and your daughter. I know how actively she was involved with it, and I was really in on the ground floor with this when I got the city together and was told no way in the world could this happen. It was too difficult, it was too complicated, and it would just be a trouble, and it would give us all grief. And the next thing we know, you and the health department and the nursing department, the PJC, the EMS, the volunteers had put this thing together. It has been an absolute model. No one has done it any better than we've done it. There have been plenty that have done it. I have not seen anyone that's done it any better, and I've yet to hear a complaint. And my own son-in-law drove from Dallas to come in here to get it because he couldn't get it in Dallas. So thank you so much. And questions for the rest of the council or commendations?
Gosh, I just have to tell you, I went twice to get mine, and I was there less than 30 minutes on both occasions, and I just noticed that one of those was the busiest week. So I cannot tell you what a beautiful job everybody has done. It has just been remarkable. Yeah, you've done a great job. Everybody has. Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed working with your daughter so much. I'm not really good with a computer, but you're on the phone, you're trying to sign somebody up, and every silly question I had, she came over and solved my problem right away, and she was there all the time.
Well, she graduates in 3 weeks from college. She's done this while her last semester of college. So.
Wow. Congratulations.
Way to go.
And I want to thank you for all the hard work that y'all have done.
Yes, ma'am.
I also got both of my vaccines from you guys, and it was amazing the way you went through the blue X's. I mean, people were just going in and out, and the longest wait time was 15 minutes that you had to wait until after you got the vaccination. Y'all did an awesome job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Path, do you have anything you want to say?
Well, you'll see this list is not complete. We're missing a very important name on this list here, and that is Russell. I mean, his humility shows here, and so, but I want to commend Russell just tremendously. When we were getting to this thing, as you all know, COVID was confusing, a mess. Everything's happening, long lines. There were fights going on, and people in lines. How do we get the vaccines out there? How do we process? How we Russell cut through all that. So from the online portal to working with Gina, working with Randy for the call center, to working with the community college for all these individuals, Russell cut through all of that. It's been an absolute success, and many people involved here, but Russell was a spearhead of all that. And so I'd like to thank you, Russell. Outstanding job. So thank you.
Item number 15, discuss and act on extending the Families First Coronavirus Relief Act COVID-19 sick leave program. Mr. Path.
Yes. As you know, the federal government approved the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, FFCRA, back last year when COVID-19 first came to our shores, and this was to require employers, in which we were wrapped in that as well, to give an extra 80 hours for COVID-19 leave, and that was particularly for those who didn't have sick leave or any kind of leave to be able to take, so that they could stay home, not infect the coworkers, and also try to beat this here. So that ran out December 31st, 2020. A lot of entities, including agreed to extend another quarter because COVID was obviously still here. We still had a lot of impact here. City Council did agree graciously to give us another quarter. That was actually utilized. We had 42 more employees utilize that who got COVID and had to take off. So we definitely, I want to thank you on their behalf for extending that. That was much needed by many employees there. And also, too, it helped prevent them from spreading them across the departments as well. And so obviously, if they didn't have leave, they probably may have work, and that would have been bad for operations as well. Now, the that was primarily done in January. 90% of that was in January. COVID is still here. It's still not completely done. So it was agreed by the council that we would revisit this back at the next quarter. We are now in that next quarter now. April 1st is the start of that quarter, and so I wanted to bring it back to you. I would recommend that we do extend it at least one more quarter. I don't think I'm going to ask you to do it another quarter after this. And numbers are very much down. And in fact, if they keep going down, it's not going to be much of an impact to us at all. But if anyone does need it, it is there. And again, I'd like to encourage employees not to come to work if they are sick. And if they have this, particularly for your new employees, and which I have a couple of directors who are brand new, and this would encourage them not to come to work as well. So I would recommend that we would extend this at least one more quarter and make it retroactive April 1st of 2021. And this is not a new bank. This is an extension of the existing bank. So if you've already used it, it's used up. So
have most of the city employees been vaccinated?
I don't have that information. Okay. That we've not tracked that at all. We've encouraged it.
Sure, encourage them, yeah.
Yes, but we've not required it.
Okay. In fact, I would encourage everyone that's listening to this to please get vaccinated. It'll be the quickest way to get rid of this thing. And it's been given to millions and millions of people, and it's completely safe. So I think it's time really for people to take personal responsibility for this and get it done. Yep. But I certainly have no problem with extending this for one more 3 months, and probably that'll be it.
Yep.
Well, that was going to be my question, is why would we need it when the vaccine is readily available for them, their families, their children over the age of 16 or 18? You know, I'm okay with doing it. I just don't see why we need it.
A lot of citizens are just not taking it, and so, I mean, I can't control that, and so, but yes, that is a good point, though. Yes.
We are reaching the point where when the vaccine is generally available, that if you haven't taken the vaccine and you get COVID, that's kind of on you.
Absolutely, yes.
But anyway, any other comments from the council?
Well, since it's not mandatory to take the vaccination, and this program is out there, then there's no problem with using it if it's going to help the city and help the employees.
Yeah, I've got no problem with it. All right, do we need to vote on this? We have to act on this?
Yes, extend it retroactive to April 1st for one more quarter.
Okay, anybody want to make a motion on this?
I'll make the motion that we extend the Family First Coronavirus Act through June 30th and make it retroactive April 1st, 2021.
Second. Motion is second. All in favor? Everyone unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Path.
Thank you.
Item number 16, convene into executive session pursuant to A, Section 551.087 of the Texas Government Code 1, to discuss or deliberate regarding commercial or financial information that the governmental body has received from a business prospect that the governmental body seeks to have locate, stay, or expand in or near the territory of the governmental body and with which the governmental body is conducting economic development negotiations, or 2, to deliberate the offer of a financial or other incentive to a business prospect described by subdivision 1 as follows: First National Bank Building and associated properties, and B, Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney to receive legal advice from the city attorney about 1, pending or contemplated litigation, and or 2, on matters in which the duty of an attorney to her client under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflict with the chapter. It's 6:32. We're going into executive. Okay, it is now 8:50. We're out of executive. No action was taken. This brings up future events. We did mention a couple of future events during the Citizens Forum that I'd like to have addressed at a future meeting. Anybody else have any future events? All right. Motion for adjournment.
Make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got it.